Okay, well, hey, everybody, I want to welcome you to another great Monday and another topic for our flight plan. So this past weekend, I'm really kind of trying to think about what would be an ideal scenario for us to talk about. And, open houses is something that I personally am going to be planning on this weekend. I have a big open house coming up this Saturday and Sunday at one of our listings. By the way, it's a great listing. It's in an over 55 community. Nicely done property, and my sellers are really excited about the opportunity to upgrade their home. They're actually moving to an additional 55 plus community and getting a little bit bigger house. So great way to market your business. So Saturday and Sunday, we are scheduling open houses for our listing from 1 to 4 p.m. So I've got to open the playbook. What am I going to do today to help ensure the greatest level of massive success for our open house? So I kind of went back to all of the notes and stuff that we've had through the years. I would say um, most most real estate agents, when they say, "Hey, I'd like to host an open house," they kind of open up their own personal playbooks, and they basically will get the marketing done on the MLS. They'll promote the home through the MLS and hope that the MLS syndication is going to drive the most amount of traffic. Well, that does a really good job. And so that's the first step that you want to do when you're scheduling your open house is make sure that you've got the right timelines, dates, times, and what you're going to promote at the open house, that it's posted online. Most MLS systems will then syndicate that open house posting to all the other portals. So Zillow will pick it up, Trulia will pick it up, all of the other agent real estate sites will have it. So now, how do we plan on having the massive amount of success that we're hopeful for? Well, it starts by actually doing some steps. It's a little bit of work, and it's some of those things that you've got to start doing. So you've got an open house. What's the purpose behind the open house? Well, most people will say, well, it's to find buyers. Well, what if I would tell you that an open house provides two opportunities? It helps you find a buyer, and it also helps you find a seller. I would say the majority of home purchasers typically have a home to sell. Now, recently, there's probably been some differences in the amount of people that would have been buyers previously that are now in rentals buying. They've already sold their homes, they're renting properties and waiting for maybe mortgage rates to come down. They're parked their cash. So this is a whole different story. So those will find those types of buyers. However, if you use your listing correctly and your open house correctly, you will find other listings so that you can help them with the process of selling their property. So interesting. So several years ago, I had an opportunity to coach with a company called Club Wealth, and Michael Hellickson does a really nice job of creating the branding, creating this great opportunity for real estate agents. So he shared a checklist, and so we actually have this checklist that I'm going to share with you guys. So anyway, if you want to get a massive amount of people to your open house, here's some things that I would suggest you do. Well, number one, we use a third-party product called Listings to Leads. So we have all of our open houses not only promoted through the MLS, but we're going to promote them through our third-party product, Listings to Leads. But we've already uploaded our listing into this platform. Listings to Leads does a couple of things. Number one, it allows you to share just listed. It allows you to share the coming soon, just listed, open house, under contract, and just sold. In addition to a lot of other things that it does, it will help us promote our open house. So now we can take the Listings to Leads platform, and we want to create the marketing and branding behind the open house timelines. So we go to Canva. We want to create a really nice image of some of the properties that we have, or some of the property photos that we have already in place. So by doing this, we're now going to make sure that we've got great images of our property. We're going to share them everywhere we possibly can. We're going to take these images and create video reels of our open house, inviting people to the open house. Now, we can also make sure that we're making sure that we're getting the neighbors invited to the open house. So we do that in a couple of different ways. If you are planning the open house early enough, so ours are Saturday and Sunday, I would suggest picking out 10 to 20 to 30 possible neighbors that are pretty centrally surrounding your particular property, and send them a note. Send them something that says, hey neighbor, we're going to be in your neighborhood on Saturday and Sunday. We would love for you to come by and take a look at our open house. I'd love to get your feedback. We're going to show you what's going on in the world today in your particular neighborhood, and we can talk about who your particular new neighbor may be. So create this invitation and just pop it in the mail. You'll get neighbors showing up just out of curiosity. They get this nice card in the mail that says, please come by. That's the first thing you want to do in making sure your neighbors are invited. The second thing we want to do is, or the next thing we want to do is make sure that we've got sufficient yard signs. We want to make sure that we're putting out at least a minimum of 15 to 20 signs with directionals. We want to flood the front of the property. We want to make it look as crazy and insane as possible. Think about the model homes that are available. They've got yard flags, they've got flappers, they've got all kinds of things and balloons out there. They want to tell the world that they're there, that come on in. We are welcoming you to come in and take a look at our property. The ultimate goal behind an open house is to put as many eyeballs as you can on that house. Get as much feedback as you can about pricing, condition. Hey, what do the other neighbors think about it? What are the buyers coming through to the property? What do they think about it? Open houses are a fantastic way to get additional business. So we want to make sure we've got our signs ordered. We've got all that in place. We also want to do this too, is that we want to make sure that when we are showing up at this open house, we are prepared and ready to go. We want to make sure that our information that we're going to give to the potential client, all the information we can about not only the property, but we want to print out what's available surrounding the property. So we want to give as much information and as much data as we can to the consumer. So today's the day to also start doing that research. Imagine having a nice flyer that's about that particular property, but then backing it up with another nice flyer with 4 sections. You've got subject property, which is the open house, and you've got 3 additional properties that are just like it, close by, maybe in the same community or something very, very similar, to give those buyers options. You know, the ultimate goal is to sell that particular house, but not everybody's going to like it. So, you know, if somebody says, I'm interested in looking for properties, here's some additional stuff. So our resources table needs to be efficient and it needs to be effective. So now's the time, Monday, Tuesday, start planning all this. Promote your property through social media. Going back to listings to leads, let's take that. We want to promote the open house on your Facebook business page. We want to promote it on Instagram. We want to post it on Twitter, LinkedIn, create reels as well. Take some of the images and create reels to post on Instagram and Facebook. And if you're on TikTok, go stand in front of the house. Say, hey, I am inviting you to come see this property Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 4. You pick the day. We're going to show you this amazing property. We want you to give us some of the best feedback that you can, and we want to find the right property for you as a home purchaser in the Magnolia area or wherever you are, right? So create this video, post it on TikTok, post it on all the appropriate places that you can. We want to start marketing this property at a really, really, really high level. So, this is how we're going to get all those different people there. Make sure you're posting this everywhere. That's really good advice. All right, so let's go through this here. So we want to make sure we're posting it everywhere. But one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to put the price. We don't want to put the square footage or the bedrooms. We want to put open house in a particular neighborhood. And the reason why we want to do that is because we want people shopping for all sorts of different types of price points, all sorts of different types of bedrooms. So we want to get as massive amount number of people, and then we can do the filtering. We filter at the open house, not prior to them showing up at the open house. And then by promoting the open house with sign-in forms, what if you could find and attract the buyers who can't make the open house, but yet can still come in and be able to say, raise their hand, hey, I'm a buyer. Unfortunately, I can't make the house. Can you give me more information about it? So feel free to get them to sign in a form and then send them all the information that you can about the property. It's okay to do that for people that are inquiring, because now you've got their contact information, you got a phone, an email, and now you can communicate with them at a high level about either that property and schedule a private appointment or schedule something down the road. So we want to make sure we're getting all those invitations sent out. We can door knock the neighborhood. Imagine, you know, you've got that thing that went out, that invitation that goes out in the mail. What if we could also put a hanger on their front door? So inviting them to the open house. These are fantastic ways to get this stuff done. But the video works, the flyers work, and so does the promotions. So the day of the open house, we want to make sure that when someone comes in the open house, that they are not only seeing a beautiful property, but they're seeing you as a great agent. A great agent has their office set up with information. You want to make sure you have a marketing booklet. Hey, what would you do for the next listing client? Here's what we do to market and sell properties. Imagine if you could have that already laid out and that you give them away. Plan on giving these things away. It's not cheap. However, it's not expensive either. Imagine if you could have a booklet that cost you $5, $6, $7 of some information, and you gave that out to 5 or 6 people, or maybe even 10, whatever it might look like, and you've got $50 or $60 in printed materials that you've given away, and one of those clients turns into a listing client. The ROI is off the charts. So these are top things that we want to make sure. We want to make sure our visual board is set up and ready for the consumer when they come into the property. Now, about an hour before the open house is when you start putting those signs out, because it does take a little bit of time. Make sure you're ready when it's at 1 o'clock. Don't 10 minutes before come scrambling in trying to figure out how to get things done. Be ready. You want your open house to look exactly like the model homes. A new home construction consultant has all of the floor plans. They've got all the information about the builder. They've got tons of information to give away to the consumer to promote that person's business. Now, think about this. You are the CEO of your business. You're the one making these decisions. Make sure you're doing it the right way. CEOs make sure that everything is set up appropriately to promote their business. Next thing we want to do is once we get in the property, we put our yard signs out, we've got our flags up, we've got our welcoming sign. If you can, make sure and order a yard mat, something that sets on the front door. They're super simple. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them through the different types of companies, but it says, welcome, come into our open house. This is a fabulous way to make sure that people aren't, hey, is it an open house? We want to make sure it says, welcome, come on in. We want them to come into the house. You also, and a great idea is to kind of have a little sign placard on a little sign that you've got setting out on a little table. If you can't find the doormat that says, hey, welcome, come on in. We would love to show you this particular property. Great ways to make sure consumers feel welcome when they're coming into the property. So also one thing, when you get there, never park in the driveway. Leave the driveway for the client. Park in the street, move your car down the road, make sure that that's done. The flags are inviting people in. Now, once they come in, you want to make sure you've got your home buyer and home seller guide set up at a table to hand out. What is your unique selling proposition? What makes you different than the other agents that they're meeting when they're going to these other open houses that aren't yours? If your table is designed right and you now have the ability to tell the consumer, hey, my time as being a real estate agent has allowed me to hone in my skills for negotiating. I'm a better brander of properties. I market properties at a much higher level than most other real estate agents out there. I work directly with you in helping you find the right price. And we determine what we want to get for the property. We make sure our condition is right. And my background in construction allows me to help you save a ton of money while we're trying to do that. That's my selling proposition. You've got to figure out what yours is. Now, we want to make sure you have a sign-in sheet, whether it's a QR code or some sign-in sheet. It's a great way to make sure you're getting the contact information in a way to say thank you for stopping by. Some agents will host open houses with giveaways. You might give away a dinner for two somewhere that costs $50. You might give away a monthly drawing. If you're going to have multiple open houses, say, hey, listen, we are registering everybody for the February giveaway. We're going to give away a $100 gift certificate to a local restaurant. It's a great place to go and hang out. And we'll have this announcement on February 28th. So if you'd like to enter that, please fill this out. There's no cost, no obligation, other than a request for some feedback, but we'll put you enter into our drawing. People will sign up if they're going to get something. If you do this, I'll give you that. And it's a great way to get information for people that might be a little bit hesitant. One thing that I would never do is follow people through the open house. I mean, you need to make sure your sellers are aware that people will be in their home. Make sure they've got their personal belongings away, set aside where they're not untouchable. Make sure that people will open up a door. Prepare them for that. These people are looking to see how their stuff will fit into that property. So I say don't follow them through the house. Let them explore. You might check in with them. Hey, do you have any questions? Is there anything that's popped up as you've been touring our home? I'd love to answer those types of questions. Now, make sure if you are in an area or a single person at the open house, you want to make sure that you have your phone handy and at all times set up to where you can call somebody quickly. Make sure you let everybody know that make sure that you're there, so that if something does go haywire, you can quickly find somebody to kind of help you with that. So anyway, just a little word of advice on that. So make sure that we've got all this stuff done. We've got our yard flags out. We've got everything all dialed up. We've done our social media marketing. I love using listings to leads. If you'd like to know more information about how we're using this third-party platform to promote our open houses, I'd love to share with you how we're doing it. We have a low-cost commitment from the agents, so you can do this weekly, however many times you're hosting your open houses. It's really kind of cool. We've got everything dialed in. We're prepared for this open house, and we are going to collect names and phone numbers, and we are going to personally thank every person that shows up at our open house. We're going to send them an email and a text message, both email and text message. That's two different points of contact. Some people might not check their email, they'll check text. Some people might say, oh, well, I don't even know this guy. They'll delete the text and they go home. They do have something as an email. So create that massive open house. If you like this checklist, send me a direct message. I'll send you the PDF guide for it. I want you to have some incredible open houses down the road, and we're going to get started by hosting ours this weekend, and we're pretty excited about it. So hope you have a great flight planned this week. Get your calendars dialed in and have a wonderful week, and we look forward to seeing you next week too. Have a good one.